One of the guys at the Ban the Burqa protest the other day was saying, look, America wouldn't allow all this immigration to go on. Trump is building the wall. They're having checks, aren't they? Why can't we do the same? Why are we letting them in? And I said, well, ask the Native Americans what they think of immigration to their country. And obviously immigration has destroyed their country, their civilization.
Of course it has.
Equally, the British nationalists who are against immigration somehow mistakenly are flying the Israeli flag and saying, yeah, I stand with Israel, a country built on immigrants who invaded and destroyed another country.
Slavery was law at one time.
Yeah.
Slavery was law at one time. Okay, it was the right of European to have slaves.
It was legal.
Right? It was legal. Okay, it was legal to kill your slave if you want to, because he was your property. Right. It doesn't make it right. These continents, such as these countries, such as Australia, America, have been colonized and snatched away from the native. We have now moved on 200, 300, 400 years since then. Okay, it's wrong what's happened. It's happened, but it's wrong. None of these Americans, none of these white Americans, black Americans are going to just pick up and leave now. They're there. They are part of the integral furniture. The point I'm getting at is this. Just because that's happened, it doesn't mean you've got to open the door and let everyone else in now. You know it's an issue. It needs to be dealt with. For example, we have the brown rat. Okay? The brown rat is not native to these shores, right? But it's here now. We need to deal with it. Better still, we have the squirrel. The squirrel was deliberately brought over here.
The grey squirrel.
The grey squirrel was
wiped out the red squirrel almost.
Right. The grey squirrel was brought over here, deliberately brought over here, and it was released in order to habitate the place. We've got to the situation now, but we've seen it take over and nearly wipe out the indigenous species.
The grey squirrel was brought in deliberately?
Yeah, okay. It was released by, in Queen Victoria's times, the Victorian era released it. And since then, it's obviously been so successful, it's caused problems.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, the point is, okay, yeah, we released it here, now it's a problem. There's a national cull going on. You're not allowed to, there's a license out to kill them now. Squirrels, if you catch it in a trap, you're not allowed to release it. It has to be dispatched.
Right. Because they are vermin.
They are vermin, and it's not just that they're vermin. It's a situation that the government don't want them here anymore. They need to be killed where they stand, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it's quite a big issue. But they were released here as a pet.
Okay. I mean, there's a species of bird, I can't remember which, some kind of tropical bird that is living in London now.
Yeah, that's right, the parakeets.
Parakeets, that's it.
Yeah.
They came as
They're a pest as well.
Yeah.
They need to be shot.
Really? Wow.
Beautiful looking bird.
Yeah.
I mean, I love watching squirrels.
Yeah.
You know, their antics is very, very joyous to see, but, they have to be controlled. Yeah. So getting back to the Indian situation and the American situation, just because you've let X amount in, or just because you are an original immigrant yourself, doesn't mean that the place can be overpopulated now. I agree with immigration laws being kicked in now. The word didn't exist back 400 years ago, 500 years ago. It does now. To the sense, you have to have immigration. You have to have it. Especially England. Look how small it is. Okay,
immigration control.
Yeah, you have to have it.
Okay.
Sorry, immigration control. Okay. Yeah, you have to have it.
And is there a difference between immigrating?
I don't believe in that law. Sorry, I don't believe in the argument that who's Trump to say, but we should have immigration laws when he's an immigrant himself because America belongs to the Indian. It is an argument, but I don't believe it's a relevant argument.
Why is that?
Well, we've moved on 400 years since then.
Okay. And what's different now to then?
Well, it's like saying, okay, well, we got plague in 10 centuries ago we had plague, so it's all right to have it now. Yeah, do you know what I mean? You've got to control whatever you need to control whatever needs to be controlled, and we know better now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Everything about everything about man nowadays has advanced. We have knowledge now to another level. You have to control immigration. It's how you go about it.
But you're still fearful of Brexit?
Yes.
Even though that's part of the reason for that was immigration and a control on
not in my book.
Not for you.
Yeah, and I voted against it anyway. Okay. So, the arguments I knew for a long time ago because I've got contacts within the legal system. I knew that the situation regarding Brexit, they would blame it on immigration as an excuse to say we need to leave Europe, but in actual fact it was nothing to do with that. It was to do with our legal rights.
Okay.
And the power for our government to make laws without Europe poking their nose in and changing things around and saying, telling us what to do, basically. That's what it was. The Parliament didn't like it. It had nothing really to do with immigration. If it did, then they would have stopped European migrants coming in. And they haven't. And they never will, because the fact of the matter is the migrant works harder than the native. It's a fact.
Okay. Well, isn't then the European system the capitalist dream? If he can he can just find a cheaper worker.
Yes.
So would you not be in favour of leaving in that sense?
What, leaving?
Leaving the EU, if it's just carte blanche for the way the owners of the means of production, factory owners, etc., to look at it from a Marxist perspective, they can just find the cheapest labour they can, because there's no organisation between the workers. They're not.
Yeah, but why would we need to leave? Why do we need to leave the EU for that?
Well, if we're in the EU, free movement means that any Polish person, Romanian person, Bulgarian person can come and work here. It's an abundance of workers for the owners of the means of production.
Yes.
To hire or exploit, whatever you want to call it. That drives wages down.
Yeah, but whether we're in the EU or not, that can still happen.
Okay. Would leaving not restrict it slightly?
Only if they make the law to say you're not allowed here.
Mm-hmm.
We wasn't even part of the EU, and they had migrants coming in from the 1950s, 1940s coming here, right? We didn't have a EU law telling us we couldn't allow West Indians here, Indians here, etc., etc., etc.
People from the Commonwealth, don't we owe it to them more so to welcome them into this country?
Yeah, but we should have never stopped.
Polish,
what they done,
French, or whoever from Europe.
Right, what they done, they chose to shut the door to peoples of the Commonwealth and open the door to EU members to come here. That's what they done. But no one told them to do that. You can't blame Europe for that. That was Britain's decision to do that. Right? They didn't need to do that. They could have said, right, we're going to limit how many Europeans come in here, we're going to limit how many Commonwealth come in here. They could have said that. Or they could have said, right, Commonwealth can come here. We never had a problem with the Commonwealth coming here anyway. Up to that point.
As I say, we shouldn't. They more than anyone.
India was sending skilled doctors here all the time.
Yeah.
And now they just shut the door, and now we've got a problem with skilled migrant staff.
Okay.
So it's just the way they're trying to manoeuvre us to cause discontent.
And the Windrush generation have fallen victim to these laws and the changes, right? As there's people that have lived here 60, 70 years and don't have a passport.
It's a racial issue.
Somehow.
That's what it is.
Okay.
It's a racial issue. It's not a migrant issue. It's a racial issue.
Okay. So white immigrants good, black immigrants
110%. And that's what the situation is there. And to be honest with you, I ain't got a problem with it, because if I had my way, all black people should go back to Africa.